Hi, I'm Carl Taylor, and in this week's photo breakdown, I'm going to show you exactly how I shot this image. We're going to look at the lighting diagram, the techniques applied, and I'm also going to show you how we went from this to this. Now, as well as that image there, we also shot this one as this series of images. That particular image you can see has a completely different lighting look and lighting style to that one. It's the same set and it was shot during the same shoot, but I'm going to talk you through that particular lighting setup in a separate photo breakdown coming soon. Okay, let's move back to this image and let's take a look at what's going on and let's see what you think you can see in terms of lighting. Well, interestingly, when I took this shot, I was happy at the time with some elements of the shot and the mood that was achieved. But afterwards, when I looked at it again, I realized there was something that I didn't quite get right. And I thought, I wish I'd done that instead, or I wish I'd added that. And this was what you're seeing here. So that was the actual file, the raw shot as it was taken and how it was lit. But as I said, I was happy at the time, but it was only after looking at it, I thought I wish I'd added a little bit more atmosphere to the shot. And essentially what we had tried to achieve with this small set that we had built here was this sort of French Moulin Rouge style look with the decor, the wall that was constructed, the furniture, and the whole feel and the vibe to go with the campaign. And in this particular shot, I felt like our model was sort of leaning deep in thought, leaning against the wall of the apartment. And I felt that the lighting could have been a little bit more atmospheric. And I realized that what I should have done, which I use many times, is introduced a form of dappled lighting so that it looked like sunlight coming through net curtains or through leaves and trees shining in then through the window. And I was a little bit disappointed that I hadn't done that during the shoot. So what I did was I did it in post. And you can see there, the resulting effect is actually very good. It gives that same lighting look of dappled sunlight coming through net curtains or leaves on a tree, and it works really well. I would have preferred to have done it in camera by using a modifier in front of my other modifier to do it. But as I said, I didn't do it at the time. So let me show you how we actually achieved that in post-production, and then we'll look at the main lighting diagram. So if we go back to the original shot, there's the layer there, and you can see above here, I've got these additional layers. Let's just take a look at what they are. You can see it is basically a mask, and then that mask is dappled with glows of holes, if you like, through the mask that have actually just been created by making little selections and Gaussian blurring those selections on the mask. So little blobs of white paint on top of the black mask, Gaussian blurring each one at different amounts, different ratios, smudging them a little bit, stretching them a little bit, blurring them a little bit, so that we end up with a sort of randomized, dappled look through the mask. And then that essentially allows us to do that because we put a curves adjustment on that mask. And if we look at the curve and we open it up, you can see there is the curve pulled up on the main curve. And there's also some adjustments made on the red end of the channel. So the highlight end of the reds is pulled up. The green isn't messed around with too much, and the blue is pulled down. So basically what we're doing is letting a little bit more red light in on the highlights and a little bit less blue light, which means more yellow in on the highlights. And that combination of the red warmer light, the warmer yellow light, and the increased highlight and mid-tone intensity on that curve means we get that sort of warmer sunlight on those dappled patches of light that are coming through onto the shot. But we don't do it just on one layer. We introduce several layers because we mix it up a little bit. Because what happens when you get sunlight shining through small holes, like in net curtains, you get this diffraction and confusion, if you like, in the image. So to increase the authenticity of that, we use multiple layers of masks. Here's another one that you can see here. And then there's actually another one you can see here. And each one of these masks is set at different opacities. So this one's set at 14%, this one's set at 100%, and that one's set at 83%. So if I take that mask and I ramp it up a little bit, you can see I can change some of those dappled light effects independently to the others, which gives me a variable exposure mix, which gives it again more in authenticity and more realism. So again, on that layer there, for example, I could pull that down if I wanted. But obviously I've arrived where I've arrived with those particular dappled light, and you can see again I've adjusted the curves slightly differently for each one. So this one doesn't have the red tone highlights pulled up so much. It just has the yellows increased in the highlight end on that particular curves adjustment layer and mask. And then on this one, again, it's only the yellows that are increased in the highlight. So it was the reds increased on that layer and the yellows increased in the highlight end there. And the combination of those masks takes the image from that to that. Then additional to that is a darkening. So this is a burn layer. So it's just darkening in by adding some black low opacity paint on the right hand side of my image so that the lighting striking across the whole scene looks more uniform as it would be from sunlight given the inverse square law. So using that layer there, you can see that just darkens off on the right hand side. That then gives me a final combined layer. You can see this layer is slightly different because I've messed around with the vignetting in the corners to focus onto the model a little bit more. So what I would have done there is reduce some of the intensity of the other layers, create a new layer, and then just burn in around the corners. I have another layer above that which is set to a low 0 opacity at the moment. And if I increase that, you can see this was just an experimental one that I used for another version of the shot. And that's where I'm reducing the intensity of color on the red damask wallpaper there. So that's an option for me if I needed it. And you can see it's quite effective. You can see basically there is a mask here which hides the model from being affected by that change in shift in color. And it's only being affected to the wall behind. There was also another additional dappled light mask layer there if I wanted it, and that particular layer here was also set on various opacities to control it to see where I preferred the final result. So that's kind of where we ended up with the shot. I think I wanted it around about the 80% mark. And as you can see, it was created through the careful use of these various dappled layered masks on top to end up with the final result that I was actually happy with. Now, that was the post-production work that was done on the shot. Let's take a look at the lighting diagram to see how it was lit. So here's the lighting diagram. We have the red wall at the back, which was our wall that we built and wallpapered with the red damask style wallpaper. Our model is leaning right against the wall. Then we have an item of furniture alongside the model that you can see there in the shot in the lower left with the sewing machine. Camera was round about here. And then the main light was the fluter. And the fluter is a large Fresnel lens light that basically focuses light into a really nice tight beam, and then it feathers the light really softly at the edges of your spotlight. So it creates a spotlight, but with a beautiful feathered edge light. It's kind of similar to a honeycomb grid in terms of it creates a spot of light with a feathered edge, but the feathered edge from a Fresnel lens modifier is a lot more controlled and a lot more beautiful in terms of its transition. Now, Broncolor make one called the Fluter. Elinchrom also have a large Fresnel modifier. So do Profoto, and I think there are independent brands as well. The Fresnel Lens was designed by Augustin Fresnel a couple hundred years ago, and it's still in use today in theatre lighting, studio lighting, and in lighthouses because it has very good properties for throwing a beam of light a long distance in a concentrated form. So here I'm using the Fluter as the key light on the model, and it's a beautiful hard light effectively. It creates hard shadows, as you can see, being cast on the nose there and then onto the wall from our model, and that was thrown like so. Additional was one other light here, which was a tightly gridded standard P70 reflector with a grid, honeycomb grid, putting a small spot of light onto the cabinet down here. And if I go back to the main shot, you'll see here, if we identify in the main shot, you can see the shadow cast from the Fluter from our model onto the wall, the shadow from the nose, as you can see, the contouring on the body from the Fluter, which, as I say, is a hard light, very much like a sunlight effect. But you can also notice this shadow going the other direction here, because that spot of light on the edge of the furniture there is actually from the honeycomb grid in the lower left coming in to light that corner. And I often just light other little patches in a shot just to bring the eye into the shot, as is the case here. And then controlling the exposure over on the left, darkening, vignetting out over here on the left-hand side means that we don't get drawn out to the left-hand side of the shot too much. And as I already showed you, we darkened in on that right-hand side here, again, so that we don't draw out to that side of the shot. The main focus stays in on our main subject. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. If you'd like to see this shoot and many others, how they were achieved, then you can watch all of the videos and the tutorials and training on Karl Taylor Education. Thanks very much for watching.